and we can just talk like normal people. This is not staged at all.
Nice. Am I too loud? I just got this new mic.
No. It sounds good to me.
Do you
I
need any safety back? You need like a WAV file? I can record into Audacity or something.
No, actually, when you record on Zoom, you can set it up that it'll record a separate audio track for each speaker and everything like that. Like, which I just found out because last
Yeah,
night
yeah.
was the first Zoom episode that I recorded and meeting that I hosted. So, yeah, I've been doing a lot of job interviews via Zoom. That's been fun, but yeah.
We spoke of distrust.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Human Interaction Podcast. I am your host, Andrew Hambone Hambleton, and we're back for episode 31, the second video episode. I've a guest returning here. It's been about a year since the last time he was on, and we're gonna talk about some projects that he's been working on, and we're going to have just a delightful little conversation here. Please, everybody, clap at home for Brendan Hubbard. They're clapping. There's claps. Don't worry. How you doing,
Lots
man?
of clap. I'm good, man. Just surviving, like everyone. I think last time I saw you, I was in town. I was in Lancaster for the Red Rose Film Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, I've moved back from Arizona. I'm in Philadelphia again, so
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I haven't shaved, haven't cut my hair, so
yeah, Grizzly Adams over there.
just waiting for my second episode on your podcast.
It's like winning the Super Bowl, winning a championship.
It's my playoff beard.
Yeah, your playoff beard. Well, I got good news for you. You made it. You're back. you're in the big dance again. Okay, so you moved. When did you move back to Philly?
We moved back right before the pandemic hit, like beginning of March. So
Okay.
yeah, it was one of those. We were coming back for a few months. My dad got sick, and then just like COVID happened, and then got to the point where we were like bouncing around places, and it's just like, well, we need an apartment because COVID's not really going away right now. So back in Philly for at least another 6 months.
All right. You missed the cold weather. That's you wanted the winter.
I know it's like 80 degrees in Tucson today. Could be
Damn.
sitting on the porch.
I was thinking about that earlier today. Just based on some of the conversations I've had with other comedians and how comedy is dying, but I think it's only going to be dead for the northern states, North Atlantic or Northeast, basically, because you go south like Florida and Arizona, something like that, California, it's going to be warm enough, at least before it gets like too dark. It's going to be warm enough to do outdoor shows. So
so you're planning a tour? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm hitting the road. Quarantine be damned.
Naples, Florida, all the hot spots.
Yeah, my grandfather lives in Cape Coral, actually, which is like on the Gulf Coast, southern part of the state, and they have like a small comedy scene there. So,
really?
Yeah.
How close is that to Fort Myers?
Oh, it's right there. I mean,
Okay.
it's like a 25-minute drive, something like
Okay.
that. Like
I
they
don't know about
are,
Florida.
yeah, they're essentially like the neighboring cities. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was there was the option at one point to move down there and keep him company, keep my grandfather company, but that didn't happen. So
Nice.
Yeah,
There's still time. I mean, there's probably another year and a half of this.
Yeah, he was supposed to come up for Thanksgiving, but we all kind of put the kibosh on that. I was like, nah, because he was going to be flying into Jersey and then coming to visit us and my family in Pennsylvania, and then going back to my family in Jersey, and then back to Florida. It's like, yeah, I think he's like 87 years old. We can't. I understand he lives down there by himself. Like it probably sucks, especially because he hasn't been able to do anything. But we don't want to be the reason he catches it, you know?
It's true. That would
Yeah.
be, I mean, what are the holidays for if you don't, have dead relatives? I don't know.
Yeah. Super spreaders. That's what the holiday season is all about, for sure. So, well, you mentioned last time that you were here. You were here last time. We were actually in physical contact. You mentioned that you were here for the Red Rose Film Festival, and you were premiering your short, The Helping Hand, right? At that point,
It wasn't a premiere. We had done. We played at Cannes last May, and then
that's right, the big one.
I guess it would have been the Lancaster premiere of my short film, The Helping Hand, which, as you just saw last week, we just dropped it on this channel called Dust. And it's been going well. Little sci-fi horror vibes.
Yeah, and I'll share a link to that for sure in the description of the video. You know, I'll try to generate a little bit of traffic for you. 12 more views, something like that.
I mean, you can set it to loop and just play it all day, like while you're doing your emails and stuff.
That's a good
point. Or
point.
when we record your podcast, just have it playing in the background.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Not about it, because it was about 9 minutes long, 10 minutes long, something like that.
It's 10 minutes,
so,
give or take.
Yeah, so it's
quick watch.
Six plays in an episode, maybe 7.
You can set the rate to 2 times as well, so you can get 12 plays in an hour.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, why stop at 2 times? Why don't we go 4, 6, 8?
Ooh.
Really?
I mean, whatever gets me plays. I'm just trying to impress, the other company. So
yeah,
just want to make more films, basically, and it's really hard to do that right now. So
yeah, I imagine so. You can't just have like random cast and crew members showing up, without any proof of not having the fucking virus. So
yeah, I actually had to take a COVID compliance test for that. And it's very intense. Like if you do a shoot now, you got to have a compliance officer. You got to basically have testing. I think it's like 2 or 3 times a week. People have to show up and get temperatured at the beginning of the day and sign a bunch of waivers and paperwork and do a questionnaire and all that. So it's pretty intense. So I'm trying to avoid it, but also it's kind of what I do. So like I told you, I'm kind of moving into the podcast world, which is interesting. Been working from home, which is weird. It's like having my first office job, but not.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you about that because your summer gig, you were touring with Dr. Dog, right? Doing some guitar tech stuff for them. And so this really fucked your whole situation up, huh? I mean, I wasn't making money doing comedy. I did lose my job, but it's like that was actually you kind of relied on being able to travel and live performances and things like that.
Yeah, and it's pretty sad. I mean, we did a tour in February, thank God. So like I got to save a little bit of money before it hit. But our last show was March 1st. And then I flew to Spain for a film festival. And while I was there, like Spain was blowing up with COVID cases.
Yeah. That was
didn't
right
think anything of it. I was like flying home and Trump was like, we're turning off international travel. And I was like, oh, so this is real. This isn't just like something people are talking about.
Yeah.
And then, immediately everything shut down and we got caught in Philly. But yeah, the touring world, we had a bunch of stuff booked all summer. Supposed to do another winter run, like a New Year's into February sort of thing. And that's obviously not going to happen. So yeah, I'm kind of moving into podcast world, basically.
Hey, welcome, buddy. Frankly, there aren't enough podcasts out there. So let's get another fucking 3 billion out there, and it'll really be survival of the fittest at that point.
People need content, man.
It's true. I try to create content, but really this is just to keep me talking to people, because I've spent the last 8 months just holed up in my house and really not speaking to anybody. Like I missed a call for a job interview yesterday, and I tried to leave a voicemail, and I couldn't speak. I forgot how to like speak to people in like an appropriate business tone. So I was just like stumbling over my words. I believe I ended the message with like, I hope to hear from you soon, thanks. And that was it. But I got a call back for the job, so we'll see. I got an interview tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So why'd you take a break? I mean, you were kind of trucking along and then you just kind of stopped the time when you're supposed to do it most.
Exactly. And I spent like a bunch of money buying things to be able to do a video podcast online because like it was already like the market was already kind of moving in that direction. Like a lot of people were doing this and it's convenient. You can have anybody on whenever you both have time. You don't have to schedule people coming to your house like I was before. And that was really what like gave me pause was just not being able to have people in person, because I liked doing that and I didn't necessarily feel the need to do a video podcast. But now that's just what it's going to have to be at this point, you know. And again, I did spend all of the money to, like, I bought a new computer, bought this camera, I got all these cables that I needed to like chain to make everything work. And yeah, so, you know, it was I was wasting my investment, and I kind of felt guilty about that.
If you can always start an OnlyFans if like this job falls through.
Yeah, I do have a Patreon. I just have never put anything on there yet. That was supposed to be for my ASMR porn for old desperate housewives. Do it, you know, like I took the trash out, honey, like and shit like that. I don't know. That idea never really panned out, but it was a good one. It was a good one. And it's still being I'm ironing the kinks. Is that a phrase? See, I forgot how to talk. Jesus Christ.
Well, at least you got kink in there.
Exactly. I mean, that's really what it's all about. That's where the money is, in the kinks. So I want to real quick go back and talk about Helping Hand a little bit, because you mentioned, you know, kind of like a little sci-fi vibes. When I watched it, from the lighting and the way that you kind of present the idea of this this computer, or, you know, this entity, it gave me like 2001 vibes, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like it gave me that kind of that vibe, that feel.
Yeah, the little Hal voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, for me, it was like Poltergeist was a big influence.
Okay.
Just kind of changing it from a TV to like, it's a baby monitor basically taking over this child's life and convincing her that her parents really aren't there for her. So
yeah, and there's very little actual dialogue in it too, which I enjoy. It's a lot of the soundtrack kind of really creates the mood, and again, the lighting and kind of the visuals of it are really what drives home the kind of eeriness of it, and I like that a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, this was my first time directing, and you know, the script itself had more dialogue in it, and then in the editing room it was like, well, it's more creepy to just keep that reveal until the end and just like make this like a stressful situation for all the family and the child. And it's like, well, what is going on? Make the audience question.
Mm-hmm.
So when it all happens, it's like, oh, what the fuck. But yeah, going back to the score, like my composer Darren Morsey did a great job. Like, he's one of those guys where like you tell him you want something to sound purple, and he's like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. And
Nice.
he just, like, throws this at you. And then my cinematographer Daniel Friedberg did a very good job. When we shot in one day, so it was a pretty ambitious thing to do. So, and we shot another short film the 2 days before that or during that. So it was an interesting shoot. And yeah, I'm gonna follow it up, trying to figure out how to do it in COVID. I have another script very similar vein, kind of like technology with a child and a parent. I think I can do it without having like more than 2 people for the crew. Basically just set up some cameras around the house as if it is an AI perspective, and just kind of like throw an actor in there, direct over Zoom or whatever needs to happen, and just kind of like rent a house and just be like, hey, walk in and this house is like ready to go. Which kind of creates its own eerie feeling about the recording itself. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, that sounds like you know, if say it's like a method actor that you get or something, it wouldn't take much for that person to get into the scene, into character, because it would feel like a really creepy situation already.
Yeah.
It's
It's kind of like a little Paranormal Activity sort of vibe, but with structure and plot.
yeah. Well, and you know, like I think we talked about this in a message or something, you know, maybe a month or two ago. But I had been I've had this idea, especially since I've been sitting here alone, like doing nothing, just playing video games and shit. Um, which, don't get me wrong, love it. If I could do that for the rest of my life, I absolutely would. But unfortunately,
www.twitch.com/ yeah.
Whiskey Hambone. I do have a Twitch. I
There we
just
go.
don't. I don't have. I don't know how to make it work. I can't get the video of me. I think I need more shit. I need a little more gear to make it work properly, because this is all just kind of an amalgam of like, okay, adapters and cords and plugs that make everything work, you know. But I've had this idea of trying to shoot like a Paranormal Activity type. I was gonna do like a web series about it, about like weird shit happening in my house, and I like thought of all kinds of ways to do like special, like really cheap special effects, and then maybe that could be the Patreon, is like, well, behind the scenes, this is how we did this, this is how I did this, you know. So it's an idea that I had, and I'm glad to hear that someone else took a little sort of inspiration from Paranormal Activity, because that I thought the first two were creepy, and I loved like the
Yeah.
style and how they did it. And I feel like they're kind of like a joke among horror films, or horror film fans, I
A
should
little
say.
bit. Did you ever see? There was this found footage movie made by some guy in New Jersey who just like
Yeah, the
spent
Blair Witch
300
Project. I've
bucks.
heard of it.
No, I think it's called like Bad Ben or something. And it's just this
Okay.
old dude in his house who like set up a bunch of security cameras and just made a found footage movie. That's like pretty funny, to be honest. Like very B level, like, but he made it for a couple $100, made like, I don't know, 50 grand or something, just releasing it himself on Amazon.
Nice.
Everyone's like still into that like found footage world, but it's just this dude, like, you can tell, like, I don't know, he kind of like moves his couch and then he leaves the room and like comes back in, and like clearly he just cut and like moved it a little more, and it's like, whoa.
Oh, like jump cut, like the camera angle changes slightly.
It's not quite that bad, but
okay.
it's like, all right, like you literally, I mean, congrats to him. Like he made a $500 movie and made money off of it, and it's like compelling and people watch it, but
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
you
you
can
know
totally
what?
do that yourself.
Yeah. No, I think I know I think I tried watching it.
Yeah.
I think it was like free for a little while, and I tried watching it, and it was really cheesy. It was really
Yeah, very
not
cheesy.
yeah.
But for some reason, people love that stuff, especially in New Jersey. I don't get it. There's like some sort of B, like whoever's born in New Jersey has to love B horror movies. I guess it
Yeah.
has to do with what the Kaufman dude who did all that stuff.
Yeah, or like Kevin Smith, he kind of started with like B movies. You know, Clerks was
Yeah.
very very low budget, and that is set in New Jersey. So
That's true.
maybe there's something to that idea, that people just love fucking cheap shit in New Jersey.
I mean, I love everyone from New Jersey. Shout out to all my New Jersey friends.
Yeah,
But
hey, like I said, I have family there. My mom is from Jersey, so yeah.
It's definitely like a quantity over quality state, though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
I
a
could see
bad
that.
thing.
No, not a dependent. I guess it depends on what you're trying to do, what your goal is. If you're just trying to put something out, then yeah, quantity over quality. But if you're trying to win awards like Brendan has here, then it's definitely quality over quantity.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Good
So,
segue.
Yeah. So, well, tell me, you're getting into the podcast. You said you've been working on like a narrative style podcast, right?
Yeah, so been working with these guys who I've done a lot of films with. This guy Sean Christensen that got me into. He's the one that directed Curfew and Before I Disappear and all that. He's basically just starting his own company, and now because of COVID, we're toying around with the idea of doing narrative podcasts. So right now we have about 4 or 5 in the works, and we just recorded our first one. So the idea is like we get some talent attached, and we have an 8-episode series, and it's going to be about 25-minute episodes. He had directed a podcast called Blackout that had Rami Malek in it.
Okay.
That did pretty well. I think it won a Webby, and then he did another one as part of Dick Wolf's company called Hunted, which had Parker Posey in it. So that kind of like inspired him to like, well, I write, I direct, filming's done. So like, let me try to do this narrative podcast thing in the sense of like, an old school radio sort of vibe.
Yeah, and, which is what I said to you when you mentioned it to me. I love the like a War of the Worlds type thing where
exactly, yeah,
you have these stories that you don't need visuals necessarily to like. That's part of the beauty of like reading a book too, is you get to imagine what things look like. You have like the framework of how these people are interacting, but you get to imagine the world that they're living in, and it makes it unique to each listener, to each reader. It gives them their own unique perspective on how the world is shaped around these characters. I think that's a really, really cool thing. I think it actually stimulates people to be a little more creative rather than just staring at a screen.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the general idea is if the podcast does well, like there could be an idea of making a TV show out of it too. So that's
of course, that's where the real money is. Fucking podcaster. Yeah. That's
so you make a podcast, and like if it does well, and you can prove that it's doing well, it's a lot more economical than like getting a pilot greenlit or something like that. Like that's a hard thing to do right now. So why not do something that's creative, interesting, people might love it, and then if a bigger company is interested, like cool, let's look at doing this TV show out of it.
Yeah, well, and he's already worked with Dick Wolf, who has one of the most well-known shows ever. So that's a good end to have for sure. Are there any narrative podcasts out there that you have listened to that you enjoy that maybe you guys are taking a little inspiration from? Because there's a few that I've listened to in the past that I really, really enjoyed. And it sounds like you have a somewhat similar format, although they didn't do eight episode series. That it was just like an ongoing thing until the story was over.
Interesting. Which ones are you listening to?
There was one that actually this girl that I matched with on Tinder a couple years ago recommended. It's called The Bright Sessions. It's really, the production on it is really, really well done. The voice acting is great. The sound design is awesome, and it's kind of like a ripoff of X-Men, or I don't want to say a ripoff, but like it deals with what they call atypicals. And so the whole premise of the show is that these are the recordings from this therapist, Dr. Bright, who is the therapist to these atypicals, these people who have like these weird powers and abilities. And it's basically just like the recordings of their therapy sessions. And then things happen. It's not just someone, laying on a couch getting their head shrunk. It's like there's like time travel and interdimensional travel and things like that are involved, and some pretty just really good storytelling and really, really good production on it. So that was one that I listened to. I recommend it to everybody. I don't know if it's over because I kind of stopped listening to it, but it was really good. And there was another one called ARS Paradoxica. That it was kind of a space sci-fi adventure type deal, which was also pretty good. Again, the production value is what I admire about these narrative podcasts, because that's real. I used to listen to books on tape like when I was a kid, and they do all the like, oh, someone's walking into the room, like footsteps coming in and stuff like that. Like it's sound design is something that fascinates me and something I'd like to explore a little more going forward.
Yeah, and for what we're doing, like, you know, we brought on this really great sound designer because that's basically your whole world. Like, that guy has to. There's no more image. There's no cinematographer. Like, you're creating what a film is, but through sound. So
Right.
it's very important. And we got this great dude on board who did Blackout with Sean. And they had a very good work relationship. So for me though, I've only really listened to Hunted and Blackout. Like, I haven't branched out too much into that. It was just kind of like 3 months ago, Sean called me up and he's like, "Hey, you want to help produce this thing?" And now I'm learning a lot about this podcast world and, you know, all these companies that basically own all these podcasts, like iHeartRadio and Q Code. Like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
had no
Yeah. The
idea
big
like
ones.
how big and massive all this is, and like how everything's so intertwined. Like, you know, Apple's buying this, Stitcher's owned by this company now, and like Spotify is basically buying everyone because they just did a big pool. So it's crazy.
See, I'm flying under the radar enough that I don't have to worry. I don't have to concern myself with that stuff yet.
Yeah, you'll get there. You just gotta get that mid-roll contract so you can get the ads in there.
Yeah.
That Spotify buyout, maybe episode 100.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, there have been some companies that I know other podcasts work with that they've sent me offers for, like, you know, you can monetize with this if you know, people are looking to advertise on podcasts and stuff like that. But I don't know. At this point, I think unless you do go that like corporate route, I think Patreon is the way to go. Because that's the easiest way to get money, and it's directly from your fans, your followers. You don't have to worry about anything with corporate guidelines, and you can't say this, you can't do this, you know, you got to plug this product and blah blah blah. Yeah, gives you a lot more freedom if you can if people just like you for who you are, you know, which is really the problem with me. I'm not a
yeah, I mean, what are you doing for your Patreon subscribers? Like, are you releasing
nothing right now? nothing right now. That's what I mean. I'm trying to come up with the idea with what, you know, I've thought of doing some sketches because like this camera, it's a handy cam that I use, so it's like I can shoot things, you know, it's an HD camcorder. I can shoot things that'll look decent. It won't look like shit. I can chop and rearrange video. You know, I know how to do all that shit. I just need the ideas. That's really what it's coming down to.
Makes sense. I mean, on your last podcast, you mentioned you had a bunch of mini series ideas for your life. So
yeah, that's true.
Just got to get it going.
Yeah. I believe the last time you were referencing the one I just did with Alan and Kirk, right?
Yeah, I nerded out and apparently was the first person to listen to it this morning. But
yeah, hey, I appreciate that. Like, yeah, you're like, hey, I like that episode. I was like, I only released it like 6 hours ago. Holy shit! And it was like 2 a.m, and I was like, I guess I'll just put this out now. So I'm glad the algorithm's working, man. It's good to know. But yeah, I've been talking about it for a while, that there are so many moments in my life that could be like a mini series. It could be a TV show or a movie or whatever. And actually my roommates, I think we talked about this the last time that you were on. My roommates in LA and I have always been talking about doing like a trilogy of our 9 months there, because it like starts off awesome and then like gets real fucked up and then we all leave. It's exactly like Star Wars. It's like like everything's fun in the beginning and it's a great cool adventure, and then like you find out that fucking Darth Vader's your dad and you lose your hand, and then you go to Return of the Jedi and there's fucking Ewoks and yeah, it goes off the rails a little bit. So, well, that's not out of the picture yet, but I've actually got to start. I would have to like motivate myself to write, which is one of the things I hate doing. I hate trying to write out even jokes. I haven't written out a joke in a while. which is crazy because when I first started, I used to literally write like an outline of I would write jokes like I was writing a speech, because I was always good at that and I understood that format. And now I get on stage and forget what I wanted to say, and I just fucking get pissed at myself. Yeah, I'm rusty though. It's been a couple months of not going up on stage, 2 or 3 times a night. So,
Well, look, you got the camera, you got the Zoom. Just start doing like. There's got to be some live comedian shit going on. I mean, I've seen a lot of other people posting it. It's super weird to like get in front of no one.
Exactly. That's I don't know. I haven't done any Zoom shows yet, and I don't know if I ever will. You got to be invited to be on them too, in the first place. So, I mean, Phantom Power in Millersville, they're still running some outdoor shows until it's going to be too cold to be out there. So, as long as that goes on, I'll keep trying to get guest spots and host spot here and there. We go to their open mic and work that muscle, and then keep doing this podcast because that's where a lot of comedians actually get their jokes from. Is their podcast. You should
totally just start reaching out to comedians on Twitter and just invite them to your podcast. Just do that shit over Zoom, and then you can also be like, hey, when things open up, I'll book you a show here.
Well, see, that's the thing. I booked a show for the beginning of 2020 with Liz Mealy, who's a great comic, New York comic. She's got a special on YouTube. You guys should all check that out. But I had her booked for a show, and it was like the second show that I ever tried to produce. And then the entire world fell apart. So it's that was demoralizing. That was also part of the reason that I took a little break. I think it was just like, Jesus, like if that's not a sign from the universe, I don't know what is. Your home club where I started doing comedy finally let me produce a show there. I got it all set up. I worked out everything. I did like the promotions for it and tried my hand at graphic design to make flyers and blah. I like did all this shit. And then COVID was like, hey, fuck you. I know you really tried and you finally had motivation to do something, but guess what? The entire world's shut down.
And but in a way, isn't that the darkest joke that it could do to you?
Yeah.
So you should take that and be like, that's a really funny joke. Now I'm just going to have to do this again.
Yeah. And
fail upward.
She actually came down. Todd Barry was just at Phantom Power 2 weeks ago. And she came down from New York with him and did the feature spot. So that was cool that it worked out and she got to come down and check out the area because she had done a show like 7-8 years ago before I even started comedy at the Lizard Lounge. And according to her and some of the other comics that were in the scene at that time, it did not go well. So I was excited to give her a shot at redemption, and I was excited to get to put my name on something that I was like proud of and could show like, hey, look, this is another thing that I can do in this realm of entertainment, and this is more value added to me as a comedian and blah blah blah. And then it just didn't work out. So, but it was good. It was good that she got to come down and check out the area again. I think she'd be willing to reschedule that show and do a full hour once we can do that again. Which who the hell knows when that's going to be?
Oh, spring's around the corner. Start booking outdoor spring shows.
Yeah, yep. And that's what we talked about in the last episode. It's like winter is going to be this. It's going to be podcasts and just trying to write new jokes. And then as soon as the frost breaks, we're fucking getting back out there, So, and I think I'll be more motivated at that point. Hopefully I will not. That's the worst. Okay, the worst joke about that COVID played. The darkest joke is that. One, I got laid off on Valentine's Day, so that was nice. Yeah. And then two, it was like all right, I'm trying to find the silver lining, now I have time now to like, I'll collect unemployment for a little bit. I can do comedy more often because I don't have any responsibilities with work. I don't have to be there at 7, 8 in the morning every day. And I can spend the time doing the things that I want to do. And then it was like, oh no, actually please stay inside and don't do that. You can't travel anywhere, you can't be in public spaces. Yeah, that was the darkest joke. That was for sure the darkest joke. So I think I'm going to be more motivated once there's vaccines and everything's open again, and we can pack ourselves into tiny attics and basements to do 5 minutes for free at 1 a.m. for 3 people. Yeah.
Oh, Comedy World.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love it.
You don't gotta. You definitely don't gotta. There are a lot of people, at least in my life, like people that I know, they're like, I don't know how you fucking do it. I don't know. There's like so little reward for all of the work that you put in. But for a sociopath, the reward is having people pay attention to me. Like that's just being able, no one's going to interrupt me when I'm on stage. And if they do, they're the asshole and I get to be a dick to them. So that's my main motivation there is having my voice be heard, forcing people to hear my voice.
I totally understand it. I mean, that's why I'm your guest right now. Just want to be heard.
Yeah.
And stare at you on a couch.
This is temporary. Until like I said, for like Twitch stream, I need at least another monitor. But I have like this setup I can kind of move anywhere, but unfortunately I just run my computer through my TV. So I'm just sitting in my living room, but I have like a little spot set up where it would be a cool background and everything. It would look classy. Got my guitars hanging on the wall and a Van Gogh print and everything that I can get in the shot.
Just do the virtual backgrounds, man.
I don't know how to do that. I don't
You
know
got
how
this
to
one going on?
Whoa, dude.
It's the Four Seasons?
You pay for your fucking Zoom though.
No, I don't know. This is a free thing on the internet.
Really?
I don't know. Go to settings. I have to teach you about Zoom right now?
You do have to. That'll be the podcast.
Do you see the little thing that says video in the bottom left?
Yeah. Oh, I see stop video. Oh, choose virtual background. There we go.
There you go.
What do I got here?
Yeah, the Four Seasons isn't stock, unfortunately. You had to really search that.
Oh yeah, I gotta download smart virtual background packages. No, not right now. Sorry, and my camera's like in front of the screen. That's how I have this set up. So I'm like looking around, shit. Like, all right. Well, I'll have to fuck around with that a little bit. Thanks for showing me that, buddy.
Yeah, for a second, as I looked at your couch, I was like, oh wait, maybe that's already a virtual background.
I'm actually on the beach right now, but I set my virtual background to look like I'm just in my living room.
I mean, that works.
Yeah. I didn't know I thought people were like fucking buying green screens and stuff. I didn't realize that was all just, they let you do that.
I mean, sometimes it gets weird. Sometimes it'll like miss your face and you'll like have this black face and like a weird background coming around you. So,
ooh, talk about an idea for a horror film. I have shadow people on my Zoom meeting. This is insane.
I think someone did a Zoom movie. I think there was a Zoom horror movie. I didn't watch it. It goes back to the Big Ben or Ben, whatever that horror movie is.
Yeah, Bad Ben
Bad Ben. There we go.
I have some friends who did a movie through Zoom as well, or it was more like a play, I guess. Okay. Not so much a movie, but yeah, I didn't watch it. But if they ask, I totally did, and I told everybody about it. That movie, which the title I can totally remember off the top of my head without looking it up right now. But yeah, people have adapted in whatever way they can, and
yeah, I mean, it's inspiring that people are still figuring out how to like, hide away in their closet and do something creative.
Right. I mean, to that point, like I was making podcasts when I was a kid, like you put the scotch tape over the cassette tape that you don't want to listen to anymore
Mhm.
and record over it. And my friend who lived down the street from me growing up, we used to fucking do like radio shows and like Jeopardy episodes, like dirty Jeopardy episodes when we were like 12 years old. Because you remember that video game, You Don't Know Jack? Do
Yeah.
you remember that one? Yeah, it was kind of like what they do Jackbox now. They have another game out there that's really fun. But
Called Jackbox.
yeah, it's like a collection of different
Okay.
like trivia games that it's almost like Zoom for trivia. Like it creates a room and you get a room code, and then your friends can join from wherever, and it's like it's cross-platform, like on everything. So
I just thought the comedian would get the joke Jackbox.
I'm trying to keep this PG. Okay, I've gotten some on some of the older audio only episodes that I've uploaded on YouTube. I've gotten gotten flagged for some adult
Really?
content. Yeah,
Interesting.
it's just they're just age restricted videos, which is fine. I don't want fucking kids listening to this shit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to lose a shot of my film because it was bought by this channel Dust, who's owned by Gunpowder Sky, but they like made me remove the last shot of my movie
Why
because
is
they didn't
that?
want to get flagged.
Oh, well, that's a bummer. When are you going to release the director's cut?
I'll probably put it on Amazon. I'm going to try to get to like 100,000 plays if I can do it, and then maybe drop it on Amazon, go out to some other like horror YouTube channels and stuff like that.
Yeah, what's the one that it started a couple years ago, I think, that's like pure just a horror like network.
Well, there's Alter, which is they're owned by Dust as well. So there's this company Gunpowder Sky, which is an indie film company, owns this channel Dust and a channel Alter. Alter's just horror, Dust is like sci-fi.
Okay.
But they wanted like a horror sci-fi thing for Halloween, so they picked my movie for that. But I initially tried to get on Alter. But then there's also bigger, you got like Shudder, which is like the one you click on your Roku or whatever.
That's the one I was thinking of, was Shudder.
Yeah, Shudder's great. I mean, that would have been a dream. But
hey,
start small. First film.
Yeah. There's always, you never know who's gonna see it and be like, "Whoa, let's get this guy in here."
Probably not for me, but
shout out HBO and my mini series idea for the story of my life. You've seen the movie Boy. It would be kind of like that. Or Boyhood. That's what it. Boyhood, not Boy. Boy was
good job.
Roald Dahl. Yeah.
Still never saw Boyhood. No interest.
Really? Yeah, it was. I don't remember much about it. We'll put it that way. I think the only reason I watched it was because my dad saw it and he was like, "The characters just reminded me so much of you and your friends growing up." I was like, "Oh, I'll watch it, I guess," but I don't know. I don't remember anything about it. I think I have it on my hard drive though. Legally,
Nice.
wasn't pirated, I swear. All right, so you got the Helping Hand is now out in the world. It's because before you just had it on Vimeo, right? From what I remember.
Yeah, it was a private link on Vimeo just for film festival submissions. But we did 77 film festivals, and then got the offer from Dust, and it was they have like 2.2 million subscribers, and it just seemed like a great place to throw the film. Being a first-time director, and like, I just want to get eyes on it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I shot it in a day. Didn't cost a ton of money, but put my heart and soul into it and wanted to get some eyes on it. So it's out on Dust. Doing the podcast thing. I got a few other films going through festival route. I shot a film in Iceland in October called Everything in the End that I produced.
Yes.
It was directed by Melissa Fitzsimmons. I think we talked about it a little bit last October because I would have just got back from Iceland. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we definitely did discuss that because I was jealous that you got. Oh, and I almost I was gonna try to be your chef
Oh
the
yeah,
cruise
that's
chef
right.
when he brought that up, but I don't have a passport, so that kind
Yeah.
of put the nix on that. And apparently, you got a dude who is also in the movie and is a much better cook than I am. So
I mean, I did some cooking too. I made a really good curry that my lady was texting me like how to do it. So I was like
I
trying to use
remember that.
Icelandic ingredients.
I remember that
Um,
story.
yeah, our friend Raul, who lives in Barcelona, we flew
I've
him to
been to them.
Iceland, and he just he cooked for us for a week and was like our PA. Great hang, great buddy. I actually right before pandemic when I was in Spain, I pretty much spent the week with him when I was at that film festival. So a great dude. Yeah, hopefully the
Nice.
Iceland film will come out by the end of next year. I mean, right now we're going for the film festival premiere, and then obviously you got to get distribution, and then that takes a few months. So just picking away at that. I have another feature that has Ron Perlman in it and Ralph Ineson and Ali Lautner. So it's like No Country for Old Men meets Hell or High Water, if you've seen that movie. So
I have not seen Hell or High Water. No.
oh, you should. That's a good one.
I listen. There have been so many times that over the past couple months where I'm just like, maybe I should have a movie night. Like I'm not doing anything. I'm pissed off at Rocket League right now. I don't want to fucking play Rocket League, so maybe I should just watch a movie. And my collection is a little skimpy, and I can't nothing. It's I feel like I've lost the attention span to watch a whole movie in one sitting. Nothing really grabs my attention. I haven't seen a new movie since Star Wars, since The Rise of Skywalker, which was a year ago, roundabout. So, actually, that was in my Facebook memories today. I had bought my ticket today, a year ago today. So, yeah, that was the last time I was in a movie theater, which is not surprising, but it was the last time. It was the most recent movie that I've watched. Was that?
Wow, missing out, man.
Yeah, I see. I'm a binge watcher now. Like series are where it's at for me. Like I watched Lovecraft Country on HBO, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome. And The Haunting of Bly Manor, I checked that out. Didn't hold up to the first season.
I would say the same.
Yeah, the first season was amazing. Like that.
Yeah.
I'm not a horror fan, but that was not like a typical standard. That was like a psychological thriller with horror and drama, like all rolled into one. That was a really, really good season and a really good story. And I thought the story with Bly Manor was okay, but I just think execution wise, it didn't hit home for me. You know?
It went on a little too long. Like once they did the flashback episode, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, that like weird disjointed like repeating timeline thing. Like I think it was the fourth episode or something like that. That kind of lost me. It was just like this isn't done in a way that doesn't confuse me. You know, like and normally I love that stuff. You know, like Tarantino does like a disjointed timeline a lot in his films, and it works. Like he's good at it. Memento is what came to mind for me while watching it, but I was like, I'm confused, not in a good way. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like they, like, how to describe it. Like Memento, you were supposed to be confused the whole time because you're trying to figure out what, the same way that the main character is, you're trying to figure out what the fuck happened with Bly Manor. That specific episode, I don't think they wanted the viewer to be confused while it was happening. I think they wanted like some kind of clarity, like, oh, okay, this is like some kind of weird trapped in this dimension type thing, and they didn't pull it off. It didn't work for me. But Lovecraft Country was a little strange too, but I thought it was awesome because
I heard great things. I haven't gotten there yet. I just did the Queen's Gambit, which was pretty good. And actually, to be honest, I've just been watching Dexter again because they announced new Dexters, and I was like, you know.
That's one I didn't watch for a very long time. Uh, and actually, I have the first 2 seasons on DVD that my brother bought for me years ago for Christmas, and I have never opened them, but I watched it on Netflix. I believe it was on for a while, and what an awesome show for 6 seasons, 5 seasons.
Yeah, a couple of I think season 2 I skipped. It's
Season
just-
2 was good. Like the first
Is it season 2?
I think I watched the first 4, but I had heard from everybody that the last, like, as it goes on, it just kind of falls apart, like the storytelling. So
Yeah, I just got to the Lithgow season last night. That's my favorite one.
and I think that's where I stopped. Was
yeah, I think that's season 4.
okay, and there were only like 5 or 6 seasons, right? It's kind of like Lost, where the Lost, I always say the first 3.5 seasons are like legendary, awesome television.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, we have to go back to the island. And you're like, what? No, no, you don't.
We got a lot of money and we have to keep going, but we don't know what to do. So
yeah, well, shit, we signed a contract. I don't, and I still have never, I've never watched the end of that series. I've never seen the season or the series finale. I've gotten to the last season now in my last like watch over quarantine, but never made it to the end.
Oh, so you don't see the part where like John Hamm starts selling ads?
No. Oh, Mad Men, you mean?
Oh wait, I thought that was Lost.
No, that's I have never seen Mad Men either. I just know what it's about.
I was just going for it because that one guy kind of looks like John Hamm.
Which guy?
Kind of. Oh, like the I don't know. I haven't seen Lost for 10 years. Just feel like in my head picturing Lost, I'm like, oh, there's that guy. What's his name? John Hamm. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's not John Hamm. But
yeah, I'm trying. I don't know who. I'm trying to
there's
think
like
of who.
that middle-aged, like heartthrob dude.
Matthew
I feel like
Fox?
his name's John or something.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, there's a character named John Locke. He's the bald dude, and he's always yeah.
I messed up this segment. Guess I need to watch Lost again.
There's no segments on this, bud.
When we go back in time and like.
Nope, this is here now. You're gonna look like an idiot in this episode.
God.
And so
it all comes back in the end.
Yeah, don't you worry. I'll make a fool of myself before this is up. So, do you have a title for your podcast? If we're getting back to that, is there a title for, or is each series eight episode series? Is it a different title? It's
so we have a few. Basically, the company's like a true crime company, and nothing's really announced yet, so I can't say too much. But we're doing an 8-episode series about a hostage situation that happened in the 70s in Indianapolis. So it's basically like this guy took a banker hostage. He had like a dead man's line around his neck, which means like you take him out, the gun goes off.
Mm-hmm.
So he just took this guy hostage, and he kind of didn't know what to do once he got back to his house. So he called the local. He called the radio guy, the radio DJ, and just wanted to tell his story.
I think I've read about this on Reddit or something like that.
Yeah, really crazy story. But yeah, the radio DJ just becomes like the hostage negotiator, and it's just like 3-4 day event. So
interesting. Surprised Netflix hasn't made a documentary out of it yet.
There is a documentary. I don't think it's on Netflix. It was like it's a 2011 doc. I think it's on Amazon. It's okay. It gives you the information. But it's not like a Netflix doc where it's like, oh God, what's going to happen next? But
right.
I mean, if Netflix wants to make a TV show, I mean,
no. I mean, apparently, according to Dave Chappelle, that's those are the guys to fuck with. Don't go to Comedy Central or what? HBO had Chappelle's show also, but
didn't Chappelle make him remove it? Didn't that just happen?
Yeah. You didn't watch his Instagram thing?
No, I missed that.
Ooh, I will send you that link because that's required watching. He talks about the whole thing and why he asked Netflix to remove it, and then they did, and he was like, these are good. This is a good company. Comedy Central fucked me. HBO was just showing it basically without my permission because he doesn't
Okay.
technically own it. And Netflix had it on, and he reached out to them because he had been working with them for a while, and they were like, oh, okay, yeah, you made us probably billions of dollars. We'll take this down.
Oh, okay. So that's more respectable. I didn't know. I didn't really follow what happened. I just heard like Dave Chappelle got it taken off. So I thought it was like some sort of personal thing, but I guess, yeah, it's personal
Well,
against the other companies that own it.
Yeah. It's a personal thing, but yeah, I'll send you the link to that. He had it's like a 18-minute set that he put, or portion of a show that he put on Instagram. And if it's still up, I'll send you the link because
Nice.
it's definitely worth watching. It's always worth listening to Dave Chappelle speak. So
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
yeah.
He was in Lost, right?
Yeah. He played the dad of the kid with the dog who got kidnapped by the that was Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
Yeah. He got kidnapped by the others.
Ah,
Yeah.
the Nicole Kidman movie.
Yeah, I'm surprised you know that. Speaking of being, that's when I used to go to the movies a lot. Was that time I saw that movie in theaters, and I was fairly young when that came out. That was like early 2000s, right? When that
Yeah,
came out.
I saw that in the theater too, and it's always been one of those movies where like I'm not sure I knew what happened because I was so young. Because I think we're about the same age.
Yeah. I mean, I was probably 12 or 13. Well, no, I would have been a little older than that, but it was around that time. And I remember there's a boobie in it. You get to see a boob, a Nicole Kidman boob. And I remember the twist was actually pretty good with it at the end. You know, it was before M. Night was cornering the market on wild twists in movies, and that one had a good one. That was from what I remember, kind of a creepy movie too. Maybe I was just young. Again, maybe I was just a youngin who doesn't. That's why I don't like horror. I get scared way too easily, and it lasts forever. Like I still get flashes of Linda Blair crab walking down the steps in The Exorcist, and it still scares me. I'm 33 years old. It still terrifies
Jesus.
me. Yeah.
It excites me. I'm like, oh, Leatherface is going to cut something open? Cool. I love this
Yeah.
part. I love the part where he has a seizure after you get hit by a hammer. It's great. So authentic.
Yeah, well, and there is something to be said for that, for sure. Like realism in movies, and I don't know, like horror. I was never really allowed to watch R-rated movies when I was a kid. My parents, I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of movies because I would just repeat everything that I wasn't supposed to as a kid. So like I wasn't allowed to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for a little while because there's a scene where Raphael gets angry and screams "damn" really loud in the streets, and I would yell right along with him while I was watching it, little 4 or 5-year-old me, and so I wasn't allowed to watch it anymore.
Wow.
Home Alone was another one I was banned from. I think we've talked about this, or I've talked about it on the podcast before, but no one listened to those episodes. So
This is where the childhood trauma that turned you into a comedian came from because you weren't allowed to watch movies.
yeah, no, it wasn't that. It wasn't that at all. Actually, I don't have it anymore. Unfortunately, it got tossed over the years. But my elementary school did yearbooks for us every year, and in my 5th grade yearbook, so like when you were in 5th grade, it wasn't like a superlatives thing, but it was like they would ask every 5th grader like, what do you want to be when you grow up, or whatever, like and one of my answers, I said a baseball player or a comedian were my answers in 5th grade. So I didn't succeed with either one.
I mean, at least you're trying. I mean, you spent the last 8 months not doing your podcast, and
Yeah, so I got to come back strong. I got to come back strong now.
I mean, we're gonna shut down again. So like, just take the next 6 months and just go full force.
Yeah. And it is like, it's the same with comedy. You know, I mentioned in the last episode with Alan and Kirk, available on YouTube. Same place this one will be, is whatever. Stop trying to do smooth plugs for yourself, bud. I forget what I was saying now. Oh, with comedy, yes. I was saying I got burned out on comedy. I think I kind of got burned out on doing this podcast a little bit too, because it is a lot of work and it's a lot of like scheduling, and you don't make money doing it. There's very little reward besides being able to hear your own voice. So I enjoy doing it though. You know, I enjoy being on stage. I enjoy editing video and audio and trying to make things look cool, and it's a hobby. Hobbies are supposed to be fun, and it is fun if I let it be fun, instead of putting so much pressure on myself to like, oh, you've been like with comedy, you've been doing this for 5 years and you haven't been booked on a show in like 2, and blah, like you haven't written a new joke in like a year, and like, yeah. But I gotta stop putting pressure on myself and just have fun, man. That's when I was doing the best. That's when I had the most success with this and with comedy, is when I was just fucking having fun and I didn't care.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
We had some fun.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
It's like you're just going back into your childhood trauma for a second.
Yeah, you got me. I'm sorry.
Like,
you got me.
Back when I had fun throwing baseballs at my head.
Yeah. You know, actually, when I was a kid, what I used to do, one of my favorite activities, I used to do this for hours, especially in the summer when like I didn't have school. We had a chimney that it wasn't like attached to anything, but I lived in an old house that probably used to have a fireplace somewhere. So there's a chimney on the side of the house, and I would just take a tennis ball and my glove, and we had like a side yard, and I would just basically do like practice fielding ground balls and like throwing accuracy. So I just throw the tennis ball off of this chimney and field it and throw it again and field it, and like I could give myself different angles, and like if I did a short hop off the chimney, it would give me like a little pop up with a lot of backspin and all. Like I could read a baseball, like the way a baseball was coming off the bat or the ground or whatever, like so well, because I used to just spend hours playing chimney ball. That's what and my brother and I made it into like a competitive game where you try to make the other person miss. Basically, like if it gets past the other person, you get a point, and you play like 10 points. And we used to get pretty competitive. And my dad had to replace so much siding on the house and broken windows, and yeah, but that was
he could have just let you watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then you guys wouldn't have fucked up the siding.
Exactly. Nah, he wanted us he was happy for us to be outside, because I was always a computer nerd, like video game kid. If I could do that for the rest of my life and never do anything else, I absolutely would. I am not one of those people that is like, oh, I always have to be doing something like productive. I'm like, no, I want to chill. Like my dream job is not having one, you know?
Weren't you doing that in LA though? Weren't you like playing video games and then you gave up your dream to move back here?
Yeah. I was a video game tester. It's not as great. You don't have a choice of what game you're playing, and you're playing the same game. I was working 77 hours a week, so it was insane. I was making $9.50 an hour in LA in 2007, when it was the most expensive city in the country. So, you know, there's too much of a good thing is a real thing. For sure. Yeah, I love hot dogs. I love hot dogs, but if I only ever ate hot dogs, I would have colon cancer.
Well put.
Right?
Some philosophy.
Yeah. Don't load yourself up with hot dogs, folks. You heard it here first. Get some veg in there. Get some green leafy veg in there.
Oh, I had a weird image in my head.
Well, spit it out, bud.
No, just like the hot dog and the lettuce and like
That's exactly what I pictured too.
what, like a bobsled? Ah,
The German bobsled team. That's how the Frankfurters in a lettuce wrap, a lettuce wrapped hot dog.
sauerkraut, man.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Not a big
Well,
fan of sauerkraut, to be honest.
keeps the slide going though.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. Is that are you because that's definitely a big like central Pennsylvania thing is sauerkraut. Are you a fan?
I am. I'm also German, so like
Okay.
my mom's from Germany, so
Oh, really?
guess
I
it
didn't
kind of
know that.
makes sense. Like they come from Germany to central Pennsylvania, and now I'm
Yeah,
all crowded up.
just just like the ancestors, just like the forefathers
Yep.
of the Pennsylvania Dutch. I mean, that's they're German, they're not Dutch. So, yeah,
Yeah, full circle.
great Pennywise album. This is the name of this episode is Word Association with Brendan Hubbard.
We've both been locked up for a few months, so it's just kind of one of those like, oh, there's a person in front of me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's 100% why I wanted to start doing this again, because it was again, I started going out to open mics a little bit when I can, when they're outdoors and socially distanced and all that stuff. And I was like, wow, I really miss talking to people. I really miss just having a conversation and riffing with someone, being silly together. And I have the means to do it, so I can fucking do it, and I'm gonna do it, man. Can you hear my cat?
I can.
You can hear the cat because she's going fucking nuts. What's up?
I was hoping she'd come lay up on that blanket.
Hold on a sec.
That's what you do. You got to take the photo of her on the blanket and then set it as your background.
She hates being picked up. Hi. Say hi, Lido. She my old cat.
YouTube gold.
Okay.
I just got a kitten myself, so
Oh,
I
nice.
had to keep the door shut. She's a terrorist.
Yeah, she just gets jealous because she's like, you're talking to someone else, man. I'm here. I'm right here. And now that I picked her up and like held her, she's probably gonna go shit somewhere in the house.
I feel you.
Yeah,
Same way.
Yeah. Every time someone gives me a hug and loves up on me, I gotta go shit somewhere in the house. I don't know. She's 16 though. You know, she's earned the right to do that. I always say to people, like, when if I go away for a little bit or something, it's like I one of these days I hope, and it sounds terrible to say, but I hope I just come home to find her dead one day.
Yeah.
Like she fucked her front claw up, or her paw, like she tore out one of her own claws, and I haven't taken her to the vet because I'm afraid if I do that, they'll just be like, look, you probably just have to put her down, and I can't make that decision. I'll let nature decide when she goes. And with my luck, she'll live till she's fucking 20. So, and I'll just have a poop.
Let's hope for both. Let's hope she lives 20 and you come home and she's just one of those like stiff, mummified cats.
Yeah. She's been dead for like a year and a half, dude. How did you not notice?
Is this The Others?
Yeah, nice. Good reference. Spoiler alert.
I gotta do something after that Lost thing that just fell apart.
Yeah, I don't know if that was quite enough to redeem you from that, but we'll let the listeners decide. Let us know in the comments on the YouTube page if Brendan has redeemed himself with his terrible, terrible Lost joke. So disappointed in you. Well, dude, I think we've hit an hour, I believe. Yeah, a little over.
Hour back.
We've done it. We've made it.
Nice. It's
Um,
officially 2 hours I've spent of my life with you in front of a
that's
microphone.
in front of a microphone anyway. There are other several other hours that have not been recorded for public consumption.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Back in the day when you could hang out at places and
right.
meet friends and
Yeah,
yeah.
you could go see your friends' bands play, or just hang out for a New Year's Eve party, or orgy, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
It's
I
nice to
really
be
miss.
eye to eye instead of, down below. I'll
Yeah,
say that much.
yeah, yeah. Eye to eye instead of eye to navel. Yeah.
Eye to O.
I so you have let's see, you got Helping Hand, which I will share a link to that in the description of this video. It's on the Dust Network. That is your directorial debut.
Absolutely.
Really cool creepy sci-fi dealy short film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think you will too, viewer, listener, however you're consuming this podcast. We'll keep we'll keep our eyes peeled for your upcoming narrative podcasts. Um, Anything else you want to plug? You got social media. What? Barely There Media.
Yeah, you can follow me on Barely There Media, usually on the Instagrams. I think there's a Facebook page. Don't really check it. There's a website. I mean, I got a few films going through film festivals, but I'm sure I'll be on again before they get released. And then I'll keep you posted on the podcast. Hopefully March we'll look for a release.
Awesome.
And then hopefully we're going to crank out another 4 or 5 and just have a really busy year in that realm.
Great, man. That sounds good. I'll keep my eyes peeled. And just for reference, Barely There is BEARly there. It's not.
Hence the beard.
Yes. Yeah. And that comes from the nickname that you were given on the set of Curfew, correct? Yeah. We see, I remember things about my guests.
It's been a year.
It has been. Here, Lita's going to say goodbye, and we're going to roll out. Dude, look how much she hates this.
Her face, though, that's classic.
What, just cute cat face, cute old cat face?
No, just like angry, like I don't want to be anywhere near this microphone. This thing looks like something that smells.
Probably does. I have today. Okay, this is how this podcast, doing this again, is really going to help me. This today is the second day in a row that I've recorded an episode of this podcast, and is also the second day in a row that I have taken a shower and brushed my teeth. So we're getting there. we're getting back on track to like a normal existence, because it's getting a little nasty there for a minute. I don't have to go anywhere. I brush my teeth every day because I want to keep them, but showering not necessary if you're not going anywhere.
I mean, it's getting cold out. You'll be fine now.
Yeah. No, I'm sweating right now, but that's probably because of the light that I have pointed directly at me. But yeah, this is going to be good for my personal hygiene as well. So yeah, man, thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming. Hanging out. We're hanging out, but you didn't come hang out. You know what I mean. Gee, I'll get better at this. I'm rusty.
Don't get lost, okay?
Too. Yeah. Boom. There you go. You
Full
got
circle.
It. Full circle.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's always good catching up. We don't have to record conversations. We can just talk too. So we'll have to keep in touch for sure.
Yeah, man.
All right, listener / viewer, also, thank you for tuning in. This has been Human Interaction. I'm your host, Andrew Hambone Hambleton. That is my guest, Brendan Hubbard. Check out all of his stuff. Check out the links that are going to be down in the description of this video, and come back for the next episode. Later.